welcome back to the Stretford Paddock Podcast, where today I'm joined by Tom as always, and I suppose our first guest on the podcast, first official guest, you know him already, Stephen Howson from Full Time Devils, and Stephen Howson on YouTube as well. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, no problem. All right.
No worries, yeah, no worries. So obviously, what's transpired on Saturday as well, at least I could say, I'm not sure about you lads, but one of the darkest days.
Don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what they say. Unless it's an entertaining final, it doesn't count. So we're gonna, they didn't actually win. Obviously, Liverpool goes without saying, winning their 6th Champions League. A lot of people on Twitter, United fans, saying that with City winning the domestic treble and Liverpool winning the Champions League, we've kind of hit the proverbial rock bottom. Yeah. I just wanted to know what you fans, what you lads think about that. I mean,
do you think of it rock bottom? I think there's probably a way we can go. on a very serious note, if we don't get the signings that we want and Ollie's not backed, if the squad stays exactly the same as it is, we're in trouble, right? But it could get worse. You could lose Sanchez, Lukaku, Pogba, De Gea, Mata. We've already lost Herrera. You could lose another defender. It could get a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean,
and you could be overtaken by Wolves and Leicester and all of those if that happened.
And it's looking likely as well that we're going to lose all those players you mentioned, or near enough most of them, this summer as well. And also breaking this morning and in the past few hours that once again another Paul Pogba exiting transfer rumour. Apparently Juve, DiMarzio, a pretty reputable source, have said that they're in the hunt to get him back. I was wondering what you lads think about that, letting Paul Pogba go.
I mean, he's not done fantastic, to be honest. Like, he's done well. He's showed glimpses of what he can be, but he's not been his true self at United. I feel like if we bring in a couple of signings to replace him in different roles, maybe like Ndombele and Bruno Fernandes, that can replace two of the sort of roles that Pogba gives to the team. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
What would you price him at the moment? Because a lot of people saying we could double our money because of the market and what he is as a brand.
Anywhere between double and like 150, so double or a bit less than double. Yeah, I think the market's absolutely crazy. I mean, I wouldn't like to try and think how you come to a transfer fee at the moment. It's bananas, isn't it? Yeah. I think Tom was right in what he was saying there in terms of he's not been great, but he's still probably been our best player of the last 3 years, really. I do think he leaves a lot to be desired sometimes. I question his decision making. That makes me wonder if he's a leader, if he's the guy that could wear the captain's armband. And I also like the idea of possibly going with a Neves and an Ndombele, or a Ndombele and a Fernandes. If you look what Liverpool did, they got rid of Coutinho. Got rid of is probably a bit of a strong word, yeah. But they allowed Coutinho to leave, and everyone was like, good luck replacing that. But they thought they had enough within the squad and with what their plans was, and they sorted out their horrendous defence and they sorted out their horrendous goalkeeper. Now they're in the mix for title challenges. Now we're probably still 1 or 2 steps behind even being close to doing that as a start point. But I do think that, do you know what, maybe if we've got 200 million to spend and we're allowed to spend whatever you can raise by sales, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world if we do sensible recruitment for people that are going to fit a specific bill.
Yeah. Well, Ollie's laid out. Well, I've read a couple of things that Ollie's laid out the foundation of how he wants things to go this summer. He said he wants everything done by July the 1st. I can't see that happening, to be honest. At least he's got a plan in order. I mean, with the signings that he's lined up as well, we've been linked with that young lad from Monaco as well. Hannibal, I can't pronounce his second name, I can't remember.
Maber?
Yeah, Hannibal, I hope that's the right pronunciation anyway, I don't know. But we've been linked with him and we signed that young lad from Ajax as well. Obviously Daniel James, I think, looks a cert at this stage, although obviously the recent events in his family bereavement hasn't been announced yet, but that looks like a done deal near enough. So, I mean, the foundations, at least he's got a plan, but I mean, just alluding to, if anyone noticed as well, Louis van Gaal's interview with The Guardian this week really, really does give an insight of not just under the Jose Mourinho era, but over the past few seasons, what really has gone wrong. Him saying as well that he felt betrayed. He talked to Woodward around December when we got knocked out of the Champions League, lost to like Stoke and Norwich around that time as well. And he said Woodward gave him his back and he gave him everything. But
I can actually add a bit to that.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in the interview. I only glanced at it. I'm not read it in depth. Does it mention that he offered his resignation?
I don't believe so.
Right. I know for a fact that Louis van Gaal around that time offered his resignation.
Seriously?
And United rejected it. And that was kind of, when I heard that around about March sort of time, so it was a couple of months after it had happened, and I was like, if the man don't back himself, I can't back the man.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, okay, let's start looking for somebody else to go. And that's when the Mourinho rumours did start to really circulate. But he's got a hell of a point. Although I can kind of see it from Woodward's angle as well, is that you don't want to have to try and find an interim. Yeah. You don't want to have to do that and then appoint the man that you're looking for. I don't know if there was something contractual that Mourinho couldn't have been appointed in that January. He was out of work, so I don't know what the situation was with that. But I do know for a fact that Louis offered his resignation, and Woodward said no, and then sacked him like 5 months later.
Yeah, exactly. Right after the FA Cup.
After winning a trophy, which is all kinds of ridiculous, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, he was spitting some pretty nasty things in the interview as well. He was mentioned Wayne Rooney as well. He said. It was Jamie Jackson, a guy who's been on your Warm Down podcast a few times. He did the interview, was asking him what players impressed you in the squad, and obviously he alluded to the likes of David De Gea, but then he was talking about, I signed Luke Shaw, he was above average, and Herrera, they're the words he used, he was above average. I mean, you're listening to what the previous managers we've had over the past few years, and even they can admit, Jose said it was a miracle he got the squad to second. Van Gaal is coming out and saying that. Even Rooney, he said who he had as captain was over the hill when he had it. He said, he was.
He should have gone out the door with Fergie, to be honest.
And but even the squad we had, that even our managers who signed these players, they're above average, and it just really I think it's starting to show now. The cracks are starting to show how much rebuilding this club actually needs for the moment. And obviously we just alluded to Paul Pogba there. Another player we've been linked with a lot in the past few days, the Independent reporting that we're the front runners to get James Maddison from Leicester. I don't know. Obviously, that would probably be as a replacement for Paul Pogba, but what do you lads make of that, James Maddison?
I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of creativity in the squad, to be fair. Like, Pogba, I guess, is our most creative outlet, and when he doesn't perform, the whole team kind of is lacklustre when creating chances. God knows Ashley Young can't do it. When we play our fullbacks offensively, Luke Shaw's probably the only creative outlet there. I think we need something.
We need something to balance out the team, because down that left-hand side at the moment is just everything. I mean, it's right back, right wing. But James Maddison obviously playing in that central role, top chance creator in the league. But Norwich sold. Norwich were a mid-table, I believe, championship team last year, and they still got 25 million for him. So, I mean, what's that going to take to get him out of Leicester City?
He was at the United Barcelona game.
Yeah, apparently he was a big United fan. Yeah, he's been to a few games this season.
He was standing in front of someone I know in the queue, and they was like,
James Maddison.
Have you seen that? And I was like, what? And he was like, I turned around, I couldn't see him. It was a big queue. Yeah. And then he texted me as I've gone past, and I was like, all right. And I was like, to be fair, I've gone and watched random Champions League games, and United Barcelona's a big game. I didn't know at the time he was a United fan. I think he's only just alluded to that recently, hasn't he? Maybe there's something in it, maybe there's nothing in it. I think he definitely fits that archetype of a player that seemingly, because we don't know, Ollie's not come out and gone, I want this player, but the player that we're being linked with, the players that we look like we're signing, he fits in that archetype. He's young, he's hungry, he's proven himself this much. But we all think that he's got a bit of a higher ceiling, so I wouldn't be shocked. I
mean, top chance creator in the entire league this season, 7 goals, 7 assists. With Leicester as well, but a team that have sacked their manager halfway through the season, a team that sacked their manager, Claude Puel, based on the fact that, and it's the same reason he was sacked by Southampton, not scoring enough goals, not creating enough chances, yet he's still creating the most in the Premier League.
Tells you a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but we're talking, I would say, considering they put a 25 million investment into a mid-table championship player, we're talking upwards of 50 to 60 million, and given his age profile, and of course he's English, slaps on an extra 20 million as well.
Undoubtedly.
But we were just saying James Maddison's a United fan there, another player who allegedly we say, has been to a few games this season. Thomas Meunier, self-confessed Manchester United fan, PSG right back. A lot of talk saying 25 million euro to get him into the club, which for a 27-year-old sounds like a good bit of business, but he's not exactly, from what I hear, I mean, the best person to have around the change room.
Yeah. What is it about PSG? Have they just recruited bellends?
Yeah, and it's just the money. The money.
So I think buying people from PSG, and Rabiot's another one that, as a footballer, I've got no qualms against him, but there is these off-field things with some of them. But saying that, if we went along that, we would have never signed Cantona.
No.
He was a troublemaker from the start. He was this, he was that. Well, he was none of those things. Once he fit a team that fit him, he was fantastic. So maybe we're rushing to judgment on this. He could be another Balotelli, he could be Cantona, he could be somewhere in the middle.
A lot of talks as well saying we're going to go for him as a alternative to Wan-Bissaka because again, like Maddison, we're talking 50 to 60 million. But you alluded to the Rabiot thing as well. Adrien Rabiot hasn't played since December. Obviously, issues with his mother, I was going to say ex-mother, ex-agent, who was his mother. He sacked her in December because his move to Barca fell through. But apparently, this could be, if we're led to believe, a free transfer.
Sounds like it. Look, on the football pitch, top, pretty much what we need. There's a lot of Michael Carrick in him. Real underrated, under the radar sort of worker with a bit of a sparkle about him. And guess what? We haven't got anything like that. No. So I do like the idea of that. Again, he could fit into that role of transforming the midfield entirely. Yeah. I don't know how he would play alongside Pogba. I still think you probably need another one in there. I think Fred could probably come in and be useful in the season as a rotational player. But what we didn't do last year was improve that first 11. We signed a backup right back, we signed a backup midfielder, we signed a third choice goalkeeper. You've got to improve the first 11. And that's what all I want to see us do this year. If we sign Munier, or I would prefer Wan-Bissaka for that right back slot, we've improved the first 11. If we sign De Ligt, if we sign Toby Alderweireld, if we sign anybody for that other centre half slot, we've improved the starting 11. I think Rabiot probably improves the starting 11. So I think the signs of that, I'm not sure James fits into that category. I think he's just a squad player. But we're doing better than what we did last summer if we can start to get them over the line. Because until we get them over the line, no matter, does it? Yeah.
I mean, there's a question as well that's been beckoning online with the whole people we're going to bring in, and if Pogba goes out, obviously Rabiot will be coming in that central midfield role. But it's a question I'm going to pose to both of you. Tom, we'll start with you. Because Paul Pogba, as you know, he's been probably, as you said, best player of the season, most creative. Well, maybe not best, but definitely putting out the numbers that would.
His attitude at times pissed people off. But the numbers that he put up, if you go through, not just the goals and assists, but from the key passes to balls played forward to actions in the final third, he's the top of virtually every metric you want to look at. He was our best player. He probably should have been player of the year, probably. I can see the arguments for Lindelof. I thought Shaw was a bit of a stretch. He's probably been our best player over that 3-year period. There's not been anyone consistent, hence why fans are losing their minds. Yeah. Nobody's been consistent, no one's been amazing, but he was probably the best of what's been a relatively bad bunch over that 3 years. But there's something about him, isn't there? There's still something that you just go... Unless we can find the right system that gets the best out of him, which every manager has so far tried to do, then maybe we are better doing what Liverpool did with Coutinho and strengthening the other areas and seeing what happens.
And that's the question exactly I was going to ask. Would you sell Pogba cash in now when his value is probably near, given his age and...
is it its peak?
Is at its peak?
Contract terms, age, everything's at its peak.
Would you cash in now and invest in the rest of the squad, or keep him there where he may decrease in price, may decrease in value, but you're still going to take a gamble?
You're also assuming that you get that full 150, 160, 170 million to spend, which...
I think you could definitely... Well, that's true, if they're actually going to spend the money, but what do you think?
I mean, if it's guaranteed that we get the money to spend back in, I feel like, we should sell him, reinvest it into several players who can do a better job, possibly. Like I said before, Ndombele, Bruno Fernandes, Maddison, possibly. Yeah, I really would.
Bruno Fernandes is a weird one as well. I don't know where that's come from recently. See, he looked pretty certain to go to City, but apparently he's got an 89 million release clause. City have only offered him 48 million, so we'll probably offer him about 105 million if his release clause is 89. But that's a weird one. And in the interview as well, we're talking about choosing City over United. I believe Van Gaal said that De Ligt should, and this kind of shows as well we talked about in the office before bitterness from old managers towards United. You had Mourinho, who's been chatting a lot of shit about United on beIN Sports, but Van Gaal coming out and saying that De Ligt should choose City over United. An ex-United manager to say that, it just kills me.
You could very easily see everybody that we've been linked with this summer ending up at City.
Yeah.
You could see, like, they've just lost Vincent Kompany. What better to replace him with? You're looking at 10 to 15 years of service, potentially, out of De Ligt. With Raola being his agent, it's more like 3. Yeah. But you've got potential to 10, 15 year service out of one guy. if you can get that, absolutely quality, because that is a future leader, possible future captain of the club, literally replacing what you've just lost in Vincent Kompany. Fantastic. They also want to replace somebody like Fernandinho. They could bring in someone to go and do that. Someone that we've been linked with as well. You could like Fernandes, João Felix, every single player virtually that we've been linked with. Wan-Bissaka. They're looking at replacing Kyle Walker. They've got to replace Kyle Walker,
who still would like walk into our team in most teams.
Within 2 years, when we're dealing with Ashley Young, who's looking at testimonial time. Unbelievable.
Man, it's shambolic as well. Well, we had our hopes up when we heard he was going to the States for a bit, but and this new fake account thing, has this been a new thing this summer? I've never really noticed it before until this summer.
It's been big for a while.
Has it been big for a while? I've never noticed, but like I get my hopes up when someone puts a screenshot in the chat and you go onto it and it's like.
Do you know what? With the Football Republic a few years ago, we had a real good idea, which was going to be to manufacture something like this.
Yeah.
But it wasn't going to be using the fake Twitter accounts everyone was going to be doing. It was going to fake a player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was going to do
just
like...
make a name.
Yeah, put some really grainy footage out there, have a couple of people go, yeah, I know about him. The ultimate goal was to have someone like Paul Mercer tell you that he's seen him play. That was the goal. It wasn't like to trick for retweets or anything like that. The goal was for having a pundit lie and that they'd seen him play. That was the goal of it. Because you'd get some, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd be like, do you know what? Left footer, a little bit quick. You'd get someone. That was the ultimate goal. And in the end, they said there wasn't enough time to pull it off. But that was something that they was planning on doing. I think it'd have been absolutely brilliant to just see someone just.
And the amount of times we've been baffed, or at least I've been baffed, just by like seeing the headline, getting my hopes up, and then it's 500 followers.
But you're also looking at the two players that United are probably likely to sign, the Hannibal, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the kid from Ajax.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him play.
No, neither have I.
No, I
even
haven't
Daniel
seen
James, I've never even seen play.
Well, I did watch the City game again, but he never stood out to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I literally was like, well, I watched that game.
Didn't know.
I couldn't tell you that I watched him. I watched that game. But like all of these players, like I wouldn't sit here and say, I'll tell you all about this kid. I've been texting people that I know will know, and I'm trying to get footage of them to watch them. But yeah, some people will just sit there and go, I'll say everything you need to know.
Because they know everything. But anyway, look, sorry, go on.
I was going to bring up a point.
No, sorry, go on.
Something I'd like to discuss is Lukaku looks certain to go to Inter. Jovic has just signed for Real Madrid. That's been confirmed. What striker would you guys like to see brought in to replace
I'm pretty good about Jovic, to be honest.
52 million. I think it was for 27 goals, 14
I could see him
assists.
working for United big time.
Yeah.
I could have seen him working for United. He's probably going to be a massive success at Real.
He's that Morata-esque striker in that kind of way.
I think he's got more about him.
More finishing ability.
More aggression. More about him. I just think he's a really good striker. And that is the kind of signing that United should be looking. Don't look at Real Madrid. Don't look at Barcelona. Those are the teams that you need. Those second-tier teams. You find them in the Bundesliga. You find them in France. Players like Ndombele, like Houssem Aouar at Lyon. To be honest, there's pretty much every single player in that Lyon team you could go and make an argument for signing. Even Raphael, bring Raphael back.
Even Memphis, well, maybe not Memphis.
So Memphis, you could, to be honest. Memphis always had that ability in him. He would show you that he had that ability in him, but he never got consecutive games, did he, to really show. On the number 9, who's the number 9 you would like to see us brought in? I don't know. I do like Dembele.
Oh, Moussa Dembele from Celtic. Yeah, that's another. He's
Leon.
kind of they
only.
only.
Leon, that's me. Pick anyone from players. Virtually anyone from
Dembele is a shout as well, but it's just worrying with a team like Lyon. And you said Memphis didn't get. My thing with Memphis was I think maybe that Lyon at Ligue 1 is maybe his level. And Lyon are a good team. They beat City in the Champions League as you saw this season, but the French league is a different class in my opinion to the Premier League. And someone like Moussa Dembele, who's gone to the SPL, gone up a bit in level to Lyon. But coming to United is completely a different kettle of fish, in my opinion. As for strikers that I'd want to be brought in,
who else is there?
I mean, attainable options out there. I mean,
no one was more excited than me when we signed Lukaku.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. How much do you think we could get for Lukaku if we sold him?
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know.
50, 60 million. It's got to be a minimum, man. I think you're probably going to take a loss on him, but.
Not much, I don't think. With his age profile, and he's still got a decent, when you look on paper, goal record. It's like nearly 1 every 2 games for United. Yeah. Anyway, that's all from us this week. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments in below for your next recommendation for the next podcast, and we'll see you next week.